The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
That's right, you're listening to Canary Cry News Talk, and today is April 13th, 2020, episode 187, and this week, what are they cooking? Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, my name's Basil.
And this is Gonz, just realizing I didn't start my recorder on time.
Oh no,
but
neither did I. Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going now, so hopefully it'll work itself out. A lot of things to prepare that we always forget one or two things when we go live here, but welcome to the show. Welcome if you're watching on YouTube, on the Face Like the Sun channel, the Canary Cry Radio channel, Twitch, plenty of Twitch people out there. It's growing, your little Twitch army there, Basil.
Twitch.
And also Periscope.
I know, Twitch army for life.
Yes, and
I'm sorry, my virtual reality office just completely reset on me. So all my screens are gone, but that's okay. I'm just floating in a wonderful world of virtual reality, trying to get my head back on straight.
Okay.
But we first want to start out by apologizing because we ended up missing our Friday stream, Gonz. We have some explaining to do.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Do you want to explain it or me?
Well, what's your excuse? I have mine. What's yours?
My excuse is I'm out of control of the situation, that I had to follow my fearless leader Gonzo.
Oh, okay.
Who had other things, more important things to do. No, it's Easter weekend. Family stuff, Easter stuff.
Church
he is
stuff.
Risen. He is risen.
He is risen. But yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Churches
it was a busy weekend.
Churches needing technical support rapidly in the age of everything going internet.
Yes.
Some places were more prepared than others, but
that's right.
Now was a time to help some of the local churches out there that needed it. So it was fun. It was good, but it was many hours of lots of hours of volunteering, so.
Yeah,
good stuff.
You and I, being of the elder millennial generation, we're in that time of life where we are especially skilled at, IT support, tech support, for our millennial or Gen Zers, but we're old enough to feel like we have an obligation or a responsibility to use our powers for good. And that's exactly what we did last weekend, helping out all these churches do their live streaming. God bless them. How was your Easter? Did you do anything fun?
No, I helped the church live stream, and then I came home. And I COVID inside.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I took a very long nap. It was an accidental nap, those accidental Easter naps, and that was pretty much it. Easter Bunny did not stop by this year because of his pagan roots. He was not welcome.
Ishtar wasn't around this time. Everyone's on everything. Even the demon goddesses are. Everything's messed up. Even they couldn't show up this time around. Yeah.
Ishtar, the many-breasted one was not invited into my home. I feel like we have a little bit of lag. The internet might be sort of slowing down on us here as the NSA throttles our connection to try to stifle the truth.
I know.
So, Gonz, I think we should just jump right into it. You ready for a Flippy update?
Yep.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. Okay, here's the thing, folks. We are following Flippy. Flippy is the colloquial name we have for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. Today, for those, again, if there's anybody, this is your first show, you may think this is silly, but through tracking the Flippy phenomenon, it serves as a a window into the bigger picture of the infiltration of robots, including AI, robotics taking the place of traditional, human things in society, and how they're using robotics to enforce the technocracy. And we've seen that quite a bit, and it all comes through the lens of the original robot arm being put to work, which is Flippy, the burger flipping robot. This week we're getting a little bit more academic, Gons. This is on MSN.com. Not only is Flippy taking the jobs of our burger flippers, but according to this headline, robots help Japanese students, quote, attend graduation ceremony. Japan has always been at the forefront of robotic technology. Over the years, the androids have been deployed to work in banks, run hotels, and even serve as personal assistants to the elderly. Now, in what is being hailed as a, quote, industry first, a Tokyo university has used avatar robots to enable students to, quote, attend their graduation ceremony without leaving home. Professor Shugo Yanaka, Dean of Global Business Administration at Business Breakthrough University, came up with the brilliant idea after the coronavirus pandemic forced them to rethink the in-person spring graduation ceremony. He told Euronews Living, quote, we knew that there were lots of students who would like to attend a graduation ceremony but wouldn't be able to do so due to the coronavirus concern. I suddenly came up with an idea of the avatar graduation ceremony. The event, which was held at Tokyo's Hotel Grand Palace on March 28th, 2020, started with the university president Kenichi Omae delivering an uplifting commencement speech to the students attending via video conferencing platform Zoom. Then began the virtual graduation ceremony. Each time a student's name was called out by a moderator, one of the two remotely operated NewMe avatar robots. We got to keep an eye on that. NewMe. NewMe. Avatar robots dressed in graduation caps and gowns motored to the podium to accept the diploma from the president. The graduate was able to experience the event and hear the handful of school staff in attendance clap and shout out their congratulations via a digital tablet attached to each Newman's head. Once Mr. Omae had placed the certificate... What?
NewMe.
Yeah, NewMe, not Newman.
Really bad lag, by the way.
Once Mr. Omae had... We do have really bad lag. What if we did just a really quick live reconnect? Do you think that's possible, or would that mess things up?
I have no idea. Do you want to try it?
Wow. Yeah, we could do an industry first live stream Skype reconnect to reestablish this connection. This is an exciting moment for everybody watching live. We're going to see if this works. All right, Gons, we'll put 10 seconds on the clock.
Okay, I'm hanging up on you.
Go.
All right. Hopefully, I'm still here. And let's see if we can call back. Whoa. Ah.
There we go. We did it. We're back in.
We did it, but now I'm... Okay, you're there. I think I turned into...
I'm here.
What happened to me? I turned into...
I don't know.
On the video screen, I turned into a miniature... Something happened to my... Interesting.
Okay.
I have no idea what people are
singing.
Yes,
you figure out the...
I'll fix my floating head that shrank for some reason.
Okay.
All right.
So here's the thing, Gons.
Yes.
First, we had Flippy, who took the jobs of the burger flippers. And now, those kids over in Japan, your homeland, your hometown, they're trying to get their higher education. And now even their graduation ceremony is being replaced by robots. And it brings up an interesting thing that we've been tracking and discussing for a while, and that is the robotic avatar concept, where we talk about quite often with the upgrades in virtual reality and augmented reality and robotics, how all those things can sort of coalesce to let the elderly or the people who can't leave their house. Well, I guess in this case, it's almost everybody, but also the disabled through these robotic avatars can continue to work in places like cafes, as we've seen in Japan. But I think we're also going to be seeing a big uptick in this robotic avatar working, because now you can employ people to sit at their computers. Again, it was focused on the elderly and the disabled because they're not doing a whole bunch else. They're oftentimes kind of stuck in one place. But think about a factory. You have a factory that kind of needs human minds, where automation doesn't quite cut every corner. When you still need a human brain to interact, you can have 24-hour operation in a factory if you cycle the people who are controlling the robots in the factory throughout, the different time zones. Anyways, that's a sort of a separate offshoot there. But for people who are just tuning in for the first time and don't know why we're talking about robots that much, it's all part of the technocracy. And here we're seeing it just kind of sneak its way into academia. I mean, it's a tough time for graduates of 2020. There's all sorts of fun ideas about how seniors in high school and graduates of other programs are going to have graduation ceremonies. I think this is an interesting first try at trying to make it work. But I don't know. It fits too snugly into the robot takeover, and I don't like it, Gons.
Well, what's funny is I'm looking at the picture here of the 3 laptops that are connected in this article. They took pictures of, how they made the technology work. It looks like they're on Zoom with a bunch of people on the call. But there's a little box that's doing the video feed, and that's the same box we're using, or at least the one I used for the church locally here. And I really, really don't like the name of the box. Do you know the name of the box, Basil?
Black Magic.
Black Magic. I really do. I just don't like using it. Every time I talk about it too, like, oh yeah, we got to make sure that the Black Magic is working properly. It's just like, they knew that a bunch of Christians are going to be using this thing. And because, a lot of churches use it for live stream. I'm sure they were like in the back room, we should call it Black Magic. Get all those Christians to, talk about the Black Magic box. Anyway, just a side note of the technologies that we're working with here.
Very common live streaming hardware, Black Magic there. So there you go. You got Black Magic in the church today, Gons.
That's disappointing.
Well, while you get set up for the next article, I just want to say a big hello to everybody tuning in live. We are so stoked to have so many people tuning in live. And I just want to give one more little pitch. If you are just tuning in, we're in a situation, Gons and I, where we are stuck inside, jobless, just as much as everybody else. We are essential employees of just this podcast. And here's the thing. If you want to help us out, we're trying to hit some goals over on Twitch. So what's up to all my Twitch viewers? You guys are the best. And anybody out there right now, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Periscope, please consider heading over and watching on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We are really trying to get our numbers up over on Twitch, because Twitch has a bunch of great ways for us to do a little bit better at supporting ourselves during this time, as well as there's YouTube and Susan Wojcicki. There's been all sorts of problems with censorship, and especially if you're on the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel, Gons has been having all sorts of problems getting his material out to all the people who need to see it. And Twitch is going to help us get past some of that. So please, it would be a huge personal favor to both myself and Gons if you headed over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. It's the best place to jump on and watch the show live. So please consider doing that. I'm keeping an eye out on that new follower list. I'll give some shout outs once those followers start coming in. Cool. So thank you very much. All right, what do you got, Gons?
We got one real quick, and just to mention it, This is a story coming out of, people know about this if you've had any kind of knowledge of the news recently. This is an aerial look at the South Carolina tornado destroys homes, uproots trees, and takes lives. And there's a little video. I guess we don't have to watch the video, but just a story of people's homes being destroyed across the some of the the East Coast or some of the Southeast. And you know, when we talk about and look, we want to prayers and thoughts out to the people that lost their properties. At the same time, there's obviously with weather manipulation technologies, you have to wonder like, hey, this is a really good opportunity to, upgrade some real estate, but, we really don't have a way to get rid of what we got now. So because of the economic crash, hey, why don't we, a couple tornadoes, but that's pure speculation, Basil. And, there would have to be a lot more research into what areas and like who lived in these places and that kind of thing to get any kind of true thing out of it. But
it's
just
always,
something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's always kind of suspicious. But we really we care for our listeners in that area. So if you are a listener or a viewer from any one of the areas that are being impacted by the storms right now, we really are praying for you. We're sorry that you got this extra thing on top of our regular apocalypse. You get a nice little double apocalypse. So listeners out there, I know you're out there. Send us an email. Let us know you're okay.
Welcome to Chinese News!
Okay, you ready for some Chinese news?
Man, we're just completely off rhythm today because of people complain that we talk over each other, already, but this must be awful for people watching and listening. It's just like, wow.
It's tough, man. The connections.
Yeah, the connection's horrible.
Have you noticed your internet connection getting much worse?
Yeah. But I think it's because everyone's on the internet now and everyone's doing everything. Everyone's Skyping and multiple Zoom and video games and everyone's busy online. So that makes sense.
What we need, Gons, to fix this problem?
We need what? Blockchain?
5G.
Oh, no.
Okay, moving on.
Oh.
I keyed. Okay, CNN.com. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is coming from CNN.com. The headline is Beijing tightens grip over coronavirus research amid U.S.-China row on virus origin. Hong Kong. China has imposed restrictions on the publication of academic research on the origins of the novel coronavirus, according to a central government directive and online notices published by 2 Chinese universities that have since been removed from the web. Under the new policy, all academic papers on COVID-19 will be subject to extra vetting before being submitted for publication. Studies on the origin of the virus will receive extra scrutiny and must be approved by central government officials, according to the now deleted post. A medical expert in Hong Kong who collaborated with mainland researchers to publish a clinical analysis of COVID-19 cases in an international medical journal said his work did not undergo such vetting in February. The increased scrutiny appears to be the latest effort by the Chinese government to control the narrative on the origins of the coronavirus pandemic, which has claimed more than 100,000 lives and sickened 1.7 million people worldwide since it first broke out in the Chinese city of Wuhan in December. Since late January, Chinese researchers have published a series of COVID-19 studies in influential international medical journals. Some findings about early coronavirus cases, such as when human-to-human transitions first appeared, have raised questions over the official government account of the outbreak and sparked controversy on Chinese social media. And now, Chinese authorities appear to be tightening their grip on the publication of COVID-19 research. A Chinese researcher who spoke on condition of anonymity due to fear of retaliation said the move was a worrying development that would likely obstruct important scientific research. Quote, "I think it is a coordinated effort from the Chinese government to control the narrative and paint it as if the outbreak did not originate in China," the researcher told CNN. and I don't think they will really tolerate any objective study to investigate the origination of the disease. CNN has reached out to China's foreign ministry for comment. And then the article goes on, well, actually, let's just get into it. According to the directive issued by the Ministry of Education's Science and Technology Department, quote, academic papers about tracing the origin of the virus must be strictly and tightly managed. The directive lays out layers of approval for these papers, starting with the academic committees at universities. They are then required to be sent to the Education Ministry's Science and Technology Department, which then forwards the papers to a task force under the State Council for vetting. Only after the universities hear back from the task force can the papers be submitted to journals. Other papers on COVID-19 will be vetted by universities' academic committees based on conditions such as the academic value of the study and whether the, quote, timing for publishing is right.
Wow.
The directive is based on instructions to blah, 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 blah. It goes into much more detail. It also covers, as we know, the origin of the virus being in Wuhan and most likely from bats in the wet market. But this is very interesting because CNN, the defender of the Chinese government, is out here, blowing the lid off the fact that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is very blatantly controlling the scientific information coming out about the origins of the disease. Now, it's no surprise to any of us that the CCP would be interested in stifling the truth about that. But I thought it was very interesting. At the beginning of the article, says here, studies on the origin of the virus will receive extra scrutiny and must be approved by central government officials, according to now deleted posts. And this is always a little sketchy because, if you have the posts archived somewhere, which even if you got a screenshot or something, like make that available, link to the source of that. And CNN, supposedly one of the bastions of truth, says, no, it's according to a now deleted post, which you can't see because it's deleted. And no, we're not going to link to any source that may have archived these posts or even screenshotted them, because apparently our reporters don't know how to screenshot things.
Is this not a screenshot here
unless
that
it's
they're
the
showing?
President's. Where?
Right on the top of the page
I have
there.
no idea what that is. That's a video. I did not even do the video, and I don't speak Chinese, so that could be anything.
Well, yeah, but it looks
there
like
you
it's
go.
the paper in Chinese and it's translated into English. It actually shows like a little screenshot of
Well, read it to us.
It says any paper that
I
traces
know, I'm looking at it.
the origin of the virus should be strictly managed.
Well, maybe one of our Chinese-speaking viewers can translate that.
I don't know that it's Chinese. I think it might be a CNN report.
China has issued new regulations restricting the publication of research
Gonzo.
about coronavirus.
Hello?
Can't hear me?
CNN learned about this from the
Okay,
webpage
well,
of
I mean, I can hear you,
Fudan
but
China's most
I'm trying to.
universities, and the guidelines were
All right,
published
Yeah,
you
it's
find
showing.
out.
It's
That's
showing.
the deal.
It's showing
So-
yeah. They're doing the report and they're kind of showing the website that shows the alleged article that was deleted. They have some screen grabs.
Okay, well,
but it's
give us a link
them.
or let's go find it.
Right,
We've
that's what I'm
gotta be able
saying.
to corroborate the source.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't. Yeah, they'll show it, but it doesn't mean that there's an actual hard source. Yeah, there you go.
So there you
Wayback
go.
Machine.
Anyways, we need links to sources.
They have a link to a Wayback Machine here
Yeah,
written in
Wayback
Chinese.
Machine's
Yep.
gotta have it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Good.
We found it.
Okay, good. All right, so there you go. But the fact of the matter, wow, this internet lag
This
is
lag
really
is
killing
horrible.
us.
Yeah,
this
this is a
bothersome.
really bad one. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So apologies to everybody trying to listen to this. So there you go. I just thought it was interesting. CNN, who of course lambasted everybody. I mean, they're the one with the tweet about how horrible it was that we called it that Trump called it the China virus. And, they've been pro-China this entire time. And now it's interesting that they're coming out and, I guess they're not necessarily hostile towards the Chinese government in this particular article. But it is interesting. Of course, it doesn't surprise anybody that the CCP would be trying to slow any legit information linking China to the disease. But unfortunately, the connections just keep coming, Gons.
Yeah, it seems like one of those issues where, obviously the United States and the Chinese government, or at least the scientific institutions, both knew about this. There's no doubt in my mind. I've been sharing a little, a fraction of an article. I have some screenshots here of Nature Medicine. I don't have it on the screen, but I've been sharing it around, and basically it talks about the SARS-CoV reemergence from viruses currently circulating in bat populations. And then in the acknowledgments, it mentions the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and the National Institute of Aging of the U.S. National Institute of Health, the NIH. And it's got a bunch of awards, which are grants, like money, that went to this project in Wuhan. And it also lists the National Natural Science Foundation of China and their awards. So, this whole blaming each other thing, yeah, there might be something going on in terms of the geopolitical battles here, but it could also be, for CNN to come out and say this, it must be that some economic flows have changed or have been suspended or something that allowed somebody to publish an article on CNN, that's a little against, or not against necessarily, but at least calling out some of the problems with how China's handling the whole
questioning
situation.
the intentions.
Yeah. And that I don't know, that could be a grain of positivity that's coming out of CNN. But I mean, you even said before we got into this, like, oh yeah, that article's from CNN, by the way. I don't know if we can, but it is interesting. Why are they going in that direction? There's got to be something else going on in the background that caused them to at least even talk about this, and something to keep an eye on.
That's the whole interesting. That's the whole interesting thing about the article. It's not interesting to hear that the CCP would be trying to stifle information about how the virus came out of China. It's interesting how CNN would be reporting this, as they've been, a fortress of Chinese defense in the American media service. So there we go. We're going to keep an eye on that because, certainly something had to have happened to give them the go-ahead to start talking about that.
Yeah. And
speaking of which, Gons, in our next article here, I mean, you knew about this a long time ago. Do you want to give us a rundown on our next article here?
Yeah, I don't like the source here, but dailymail.co.uk, our favorite.
Oh, we love the Daily Mail.
Just bastion of truth. Revealed, U.S. government gave $3.7 million grant to Wuhan lab at Center of Coronavirus Leak Scrutiny that was performing experiments on bats from the caves where the disease is believed to have originated. And I don't need to read the article because I think they summarized it in the sentence title. But there you have it. The National Institute of Health.
As the Daily Mail often does.
Yeah. Well, they know that, people don't really read articles, so might as well just take up the space to give us the full spiel. But yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about with that document from Nature Medicine. It mentions the National Institute of Health and the Chinese government and all these grants that were made. And again, it shows that both of them knew about this. And again, the exact origin of, where is it? Something that they were experimenting on, genetic research, or some kind of CRISPR thing that they were doing that got loose. I don't know. There's no way for me to verify that, although I would not be surprised at any of those things at this point. But yeah, in terms of the money being
give
flowing,
us the full story. I mean, this was
okay. I can read it.
This was back in the Obama era,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says here the Chinese laboratory at the Center of Scrutiny over the potential coronavirus leak has been using U.S. government money to carry out research on bats from the caves, which scientists believe are the original source of the deadly outbreak. The Wuhan Institute of Virology undertook coronavirus experiments on mammals captured more than 1,000 miles away in Yunnan, which were funded by a $3.7 million grant from the U.S. government. sequencing the COVID-19 genome has traced it back to bats found in Yunnan caves, but it was first thought to have transferred to humans at an animal market in Wuhan. The revelation that the Wuhan Institute was experimenting on bats from the area already known to be the source of COVID-19, and doing so with American money, has sparked further fears that the lab, and not the market, is the original outbreak source. Lawmakers and pressure groups were quick to hit out at U.S. funding being provided for the dangerous and cruel animal experiments at the Wuhan Institute. It shows some pictures here of what all of us are having to do because of this whole situation. Although they got little air pumps in their suits that keep it puffy, which must be kind of nice. Keep them cool. But it says here, U.S. Congressman Matt Gaetz said, quote, "I'm disgusted to learn that for years the U.S. government has been funding dangerous and cruel animal experiments at the Wuhan Institute, which may have contributed to the global spread of coronavirus." On Saturday, Anthony Bellotti, president of the U.S. pressure group White Coat Waste, condemned his government for spending tax dollars in China, adding, quote, "Animals infected with viruses or otherwise sickened and abused in China labs reportedly may be sold to wet markets for consumption once experiments are done." It says 37 million here, but again, daily.co.uk, they don't do their
Yeah, that's Daily Mail for you.
yeah, they don't really check.
Who cares where the decimals are? Commas are just commas. Who cares
Commas are
where
just
they go?
we got the truth out there, or the main point on the headline. So it says here, the $37 million Wuhan Institute of Virology, which I think is supposed to be 3.7, the most advanced laboratory of its type, or maybe it is 37, the most advanced laboratory of its type of the Chinese, or on the Chinese mainland, is based 20 miles from the now famous wildlife market that was thought to be the location of the original transfer of the virus. According to documents obtained by the Mail on Sunday, scientists there experimented on bats as part of a project funded by the U.S. National Institute of Health, which continues to license the Wuhan laboratory to receive American money for experiments. How much more you want to keep going, Basil? Because this is, I think, we kind of get the point here.
I
know
think
that you
basically does it. So, well, and you had mentioned that you had known about this for a while and found an article from 2015 talking about this sort of transfer of wealth from the American government over to the very specific lab in Wuhan that was specifically running experiments on coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. You follow the money. It's exactly right there. If indeed this was created in that lab, in China, it was paid for by the American government, given to a Chinese lab, and everything's in there. I mean, the bats, it was specifically money to study coronavirus in bats. I mean, how more on the nose do we need to get?
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty obvious to me.
It's kind of like, you know what it reminds me of? And again, maybe it was, maybe they've been planning this specific outbreak for a while, maybe not. But it kind of reminds me of how the CIA money created Al Qaeda and all sorts of, or was it Al Qaeda or was it the Taliban? Yeah, one of those. I don't know. So somebody out there, you guys get the point. It was actually CIA money that created, rebel groups in Afghanistan and the Middle East in order to fight the Russians. And then, of course, later on, the money and the weapons got used to fight back against the U.S. So it's a very similar situation, just in sort of a bioweapon sense, where, the U.S. gave all this money to this lab in China, and lo and behold, 5 years later, we're paying for it. That just seems to be the way things go.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the muddiness of this whole thing is topped off by this whole, little truth bomb about the money flow. And again, I've known this for about a month or so, and it was interesting to see the stories come out on it now. But it's kind of one of those things where it's not surprising whatsoever, and at the end, it's kind of like, okay, we're talking about, people talk about globalism, people talk about the new world order and the one world government. And I mean, there's a lot of people working in various places for that goal. So it shouldn't be anything too surprising. But then again, it's a messy situation because certain people it seems like there is like an actual strain that is killing people. Not that it's wiping out large populations or getting a bunch of people sick necessarily, but there seems to be something there. And then the numbers being fudged all over the place. The whole thing is messy. The whole thing is confusing, and it's something that definitely the elite actually pulled off in terms of the effects that they wanted from it. So it doesn't really matter almost what the actual virus is in terms of, obviously we care about people getting sick, and if they have friends and family that die from this, really die from it, not fidgeted statistics to die from it. But in any case, there is something else that I wanted to get into. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to set you up for that real quick. You get ready for that, but I just wanted to let everybody know again, hello to all the viewers. The numbers just keep going up. We're happy you're watching live. That's really important to us. I still see a lot of viewers over on YouTube. And here's the thing, folks, just to get a little bit more specific into what we need, we are trying to make partner over on twitch.tv. That's going to open up a lot of possibilities for Gonz and I to support ourselves during this time. Gonz and I aren't making any money any other way right now, and but we keep doing this show. In fact, we're doing it more often than ever. But here's the thing, YouTube has all sorts of problems. If you're watching this show, you know the problems that YouTube has, especially for content creators putting out the type of information that we do on this show. But here's the thing, there's a way around that. And there's a way that you can support us and support this show simply by changing where you watch the show live. Here's the thing, the real numbers are, in 30 days, Gonz and I need to average 75 live viewers over on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Now, these numbers is kind of hard to fully understand, but the fact is we need to average 75 people watching live as we live stream for 30 days. We are currently at 71 viewers over on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, which is super. We're very stoked on that, but that is, I mean, considering the hundreds and hundreds of people who are watching live right now, we need more of you to head over to Twitch. Please do that. When that starts happening, I can start shutting up about it. So please head to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio and watch live on Twitch. Follow our channel, and when we're doing the show, watch over there. It's a really easy way to support us, and even more fun, take money right out of YouTube's pockets. So please go do that. We're trying to move as many people over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio as possible. I already see those numbers going up. And here's the thing, you're sitting there, you're watching on YouTube, you're thinking, well, I mean, Basil's making a big deal about it. I'm sure enough people will go over there. No, you right now, person on YouTube, switch over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. If you're hanging on to YouTube because you're either too lazy to click the link that we're posting in chat, or for some reason you just adore YouTube and don't want to watch another thing, that's the problem. You got to go to Twitch, okay? Susan Wojcicki has enough of your money, has enough of your attention. Over on Twitch, Gonz and I can actually support ourselves. Please go there. Head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. All right, Gonz, give us the next one.
All right. So there's no jingle here, but in the last couple days, there has been a documentary that went quite viral. It's called Out of Shadows, and it's gotten, I think, close to 4 million views at this point, which is pretty crazy. And did you know about this film, Basil? Did you get it shared on your timeline like 100 times or anything? Or
no, I only saw it when you told me about it.
Oh well, you must be living in the.
I'm too busy memeing, man.
Apparently, I'm curious to see if anybody in the chat has seen the film, because it does have 4 million views already in the first 3 days. But it's basically
that's crazy.
A documentary talking about exposing, the fake news stuff to begin with, but then deeper into some of the pedophile rings and just the rabbit trail of what everyone learned about in the last maybe 4 years or so with the satanic ritual abuse.
This is kind of like an Age of Deceit type production.
It's probably a lot higher quality production as far as I can tell.
Well, let me give you a nice piece of info. Somebody in the chat just said they came to Christ because of watching Age of Deceit, Guns.
Well,
so don't worry, buddy. You're not old news.
Okay, well, that's awesome. I will. All praise goes to God for that one because again, I'm just a guy. But Liz Crokin is in it. We interviewed her on Canary Cry Radio a few years ago. But it just goes over a lot of the information is stuff that, people like us already know. We've looked at this information. We came across it when it was, popular in the last few years. But then even before that, we were looking at the reality of satanic ritual abuse, the whole rat lines that exist underground and the horrible child, human trafficking and all that stuff that, Russ Dizdar was a guy that talked about it a lot. Tom Dunn's still doing his thing, trying to expose a lot of the stuff that's going on in Europe and stuff. So this is an ongoing thing, but it's been an interesting response to the documentary because on one hand, Basil, this is a lot of people learning about these issues and these topics. And I think they did I watched the movie, not the entire thing. I watched a good chunk of it. And they do a pretty good job of summarizing the things that have gone on, the things people have learned. So in that sense, it's a good video for people that are new to the information or have never seen any of this, or really, really is at least open-minded enough to see the types of rabbit trails and evidences that were present at the time of all this, weird satanic stuff that was coming out during the whole 2016 election and beyond. Mm-hmm. And obviously ties in with the Epstein thing as we show here. But the whole thing sparked a little bit of, I wouldn't say negativity, but just, I don't know. It was a really interesting response I saw from various people in the sort of truth world, if you want to call it that, the truth community, people that make, write books or documentaries or have YouTube channels. Some of them are suggesting that a lot of this research that was presented in this film were not properly sourced, in that, somebody might have talked about this specific issue in a book somewhere 10 years ago, but they weren't really getting the credit, or at least getting some kind of citation for that. And I can understand that. I can understand both sides of this, where on one hand, a lot of people are learning about these issues really quickly. I mean, look, 4 million views in like three or 4 days is ridiculous. That's crazy. I mean, even Age of Deceit, which has 5 million views, took, I don't know, it took about a year to even hit 1 million, I think. It was a really slow process. It didn't happen all at once. So to see it boom like this, it's kind of like, interesting and suspicious to those people who have done research for a long time in this area and see maybe, verbiage or content that they covered really extensively and sourced in their documentation really well and have it be almost presented in a way where, wait a minute, I'm not getting any credit. And I can understand like a pride thing too. Like, hey, if the information is getting out there, why do you care that, so there's all kinds of angles to this, but that's what I noticed in response, apart from the, hey, this is great. It's a great summary of everything that's been going on. Apart from that, it's been this sort of negativity or even some jealousy in some instances I've noticed. So I don't know. Just wanted to report on it because I wanted to let people know about it because it is a good primer.
That's a tough one. It's tough because, people, especially people in the truth community, I mean, there's a lot of long hours of research, long hours and years. And oftentimes, certain aspects of the truth getting out can take years to connect the dots and then more years just to disseminate the information and get it out to the people. So I could understand certain content creators who are not getting cited. It could be a little irritating, but at the same time, it's hard. Because all any of us really want, I mean, if you're legit like us, if you're legit, what you really want is for the information to just get out there. If the information's out there, it's good for us. It's good for everybody. It's good for the world. It's good for the body of Christ, that type of thing. So that is a tough one, but I could imagine that if I spent, 10 years of my life uncovering some secret darkness and spent another 5 years trying to get the word out there and not getting anybody to pay attention, that somebody puts my info, doesn't cite me in a documentary, and then gets 4 million views in a day, I could get a little annoyed at that.
Little irked. Yeah, I can totally understand it. As content creators, you can sort of understand that. But again, unique situation for believers to be in, because it is true that, like, hey, if the word's getting out there, the truth of these realities are getting out there, it's going to force that conversation to take place with people, pastors, that kind of stuff. And a lot of pastors aren't prepared to have that conversation with people that may be curious about these issues. So I don't know. It's good and bad, the most negative people
I don't know if you're paying attention to the chat, but first of all, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. People love Age of Deceit. It's the best. People are ready for Age of Deceit 4. We also got a super chat for $2 USD from Mo Operator.
Yes.
Mentioning Mind of Men by Truthstream Media.
Yes, that's
so there we go. We want to mention that. Mind of Men, great content. Check that out by Truthstream Media. And then somebody on Twitch, Blessed Fringe, says, how do y'all feel about Carol Baskin? But we won't go into that on this show. That's for my special after show. Maybe the Kitty King. Maybe
Age of Deceit 4 will be about uncovering Basil's true identity. That'll be my
good luck. Somebody posted in the chat that they have super secret software that they can use to remove my VR helmet and move my microphone. So I'll be waiting for that.
Fantastic.
It must be really good software.
I have a jingle that. Sorry, I'm going to go here because I have a set of jingles that we haven't used. Some people that are in subscribers to Patreon know about it. I love it because it's both true. Well, no, not all true, but there's a truism to it, but there's humor also. And I think some of these issues, if you're new to this type of information, of course, it's really challenging. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's stuff is really dark out there. But over time, you can't, brew in that forever. And so you got to laugh at it a little bit. But there's I found a guy on the internet one time, right? Have you ever found a guy on the internet, Basil, that you were intrigued by? No,
I don't like where this is going, so I'll say no.
So there's a guy, and I got some sound clips of this guy preaching. Okay, he's got some organs going on in the background, and I like it because I think it is a summary of the topics that I want to cover here, along with the Out of Shadows documentary, this whole Maria Abramovich issue with that we'll get into with the VR thing. So there's a series here. The first one.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
Yeah. I mean, that was preached, man, with the organ in the background and everything.
And melt those babies into candles.
Oh no, I think you were talking over that one.
Yikes.
That's the one that we don't like playing, but it's funny. I laugh every time I hear that one. And then we have
demonic
this one.
Power.
Dark, man.
It is dark.
People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.
That's right.
Wow, we got all sorts of jingles from that guy. Who is this guy? What's his name?
You know what? I got to go find out who it is again because somebody in the chat must know. They've got to know who this guy is. But anyway, that's our little intro jingle.
Speaking of which, Guns, it's making the rounds on Facebook and it's making the rounds on Twitter. Microsoft came out with a new commercial for their augmented reality systems. And yes, indeed, I'm wearing my virtual reality goggles, virtual reality, augmented reality. This is a trend that we saw growing in not just the transhumanist sort of sector, but technology and social engineering sector as well. So that's part of why I'm wearing my virtual reality goggles here, research purposes. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, lots of uses for avatar, solutions and work from home solutions that the elite are looking into to make sure everybody's working nice and long hours, even from their home. But Microsoft and, of course, Bill Gates getting a lot of attention right now. So this was even highlighted because it came from Microsoft, released a commercial just a bit ago that included Abramovich. And for those who don't know, what's her first name? Marina
Yeah.
Abramovich. Now, for those who might not be, very experienced or haven't spent as much time in the sort of fringe community that we sort of host here, Marina Abramovich is a known Satanist and a very famous artist, mostly in Europe, but also among the elites in America. Just love this lady. And she was involved in a movement called spirit cooking, which is very dark, very satanic, a lot of blood magic, and does tie in with things like Pizzagate and human trafficking and sacrifices, all sorts of nasty stuff like that. And Microsoft came out with a commercial for their augmented reality with Marina Abramovich, who, is the spokeshole for their, making art on augmented reality and being able to sell and monetize that art. And it was a very boring commercial, but even just seeing her face and hearing her voice sends chills down my spine. I mean, she's a scary lady. And the thing that was very encouraging about this is there was so much pushback about them using her in their commercial that they had to take the commercial down off of YouTube. And Gons, you're not sharing your desktop with me, so I don't know if you got the graphics up there. Yeah,
I've been showing stuff. I've been showing all the.
Okay, why don't you share your desktop so I know what you're doing over there? And the thing got like, I don't know, what was it, like 700 thumbs up on YouTube and then 24,000 thumbs down. People are awake to this lady and they are not convinced that Marina Abramovich is going to carry us all into the beautiful artistic utopia that
I had a Flippy update.
Augmented reality is promising.
I had a Flippy update that I forgot to tell you about, but we'll get back to that. But yeah, this is the screenshot. Obviously, if you go into the Microsoft page in the video section, that video is gone because they. Here we go. Yeah, 625 thumbs up, 24,000 thumbs down, and only 143,000 views. And released on April 10th, which is the same day as Out of, what was the movie called? I just totally forgot what the movie it's called. We just
Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows. It's not it's Out of Shadows. Gotta get it right. Out of Shadows.
Of Shadows. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'd like some shadows. Sorry, we're all
same
out of
day.
Shadows.
Same day, and they get 4 million views in 3 days. This one gets taken down because of the negativity. Very interesting. That's an interesting. Interesting play.
That's a lesson. They learned a lesson.
Did they?
Yeah.
Or do you think they intentionally did this to rally the people to I don't know, say that the good guys are winning?
No, I think they put it out thinking like, oh, Marina Abramovich, yes, a very, very artistic, people love this lady. She's such a fancy artist lady and
but
so
what about,
edgy and does all the things with...
What about the Satan? What about the Satan part? Anything bad? Anything we should say?
I think that they think people love it.
Really?
At least 600 people liked it. And I think that they're just blind. I think Microsoft wasn't really aware that people are awake to the truth of this lady. I think this is an example of, the truth is out there. 24,000 dislikes. I mean, think of the enormous amount of truther people who had to see this to get that many dislikes. I think this came as a surprise. I think because, Microsoft is still a corporation, is not run by Bill Gates right now. He stepped down and, their main thing is they want to make money. Bill Gates is on his own world domination, vaccine fueled utopian future of death.
Yeah.
But Microsoft still serves the shareholders. And I think that their marketing department and all these people, they're like, we know Bill Gates, Grandpa Bill, our forefather Bill Gates loves this lady. So we're going to make a commercial with her in it and people are going to love it and Bill's going to share it and we're all going to get a nice thumbs up. But I think they were taken by surprise here. That's my thing. I think they thought that this was going to go over well.
Well, it's because of guys that have preached about this over decades, really, that we have a woke crowd now. People like this guy.
And melt those babies into candles.
He was on it, man. He was really on it back then.
Yeah, that guy was on it.
Yeah.
He's OG truther.
OG truther, man.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
Because I know we.
Yeah, I have wife and children imprisoned right now. I shouldn't say that. They're trapped in their bedrooms. So I want to make sure that they're not. They're in their cages, and I want to allow them to roam free for the evening. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's going to get me in trouble.
They need to go on their walks. So what? How much time you got?
I was going to say 6:30 our time would be a good hard out. So we got about 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start wrapping this up.
Mm-hmm.
Any of these last articles that you just have to get out of the way before we go?
Maybe the transhuman cyborg one. Just because we can briefly run through that
just
one.
End on a nice little cyborg note.
Cyborg, yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready to become cyber? Transhuman, make way for the Homo superior.
This is BuzzFeed.news or BuzzFeedNews.com. 15 pictures from the future of human evolution. Science and human advancement has always been propelled forward by the people who do things differently and those who are not afraid to break the rules, like Satanists. I just added that last part there. But this is more for a visual thing because these are pictures. So if you're listening, we'll do our best to describe some of these pictures. But this first one here is Neurobotics manufacturer individual made to order anthropomorphic robots by copying the appearance from a real person or recreating the appearance from a photograph or portrait. And it shows a guy wearing one of those headgear things, shaking the hand of this robot upper body. I don't know, what is it? Anthropomorphic thing. People are doing this kind of stuff in their labs, Basil. Is it creepy to you at all that they're doing this, or is it kind of like they're pursuing the truth?
What I think is creepy is his sideburns. That's a new look for these androids.
The sideburns and the little vest thing. The vest is really dirty. I don't know what's going on with
his orange. His cleaning gloves, his yellow cleaning gloves.
Well, he
looks like a serial killer.
He does not look trustworthy with his curly mini fro.
No, he looks like he just murdered somebody.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that one. Okay. This one really creeped me out. This is a picture of a little dish, you can say, with a little bit of maybe half an inch of orange goo in it, and in the middle is a nose. Just a nose. Professor Alexander Sefalian and his team are growing noses, ears, and blood vessels in their laboratory at University College London using stem cells. I guess it's not like new news, but to see a picture of it is kind of like, that's like a, bio nose grown from human stem cells.
They're growing a nose? Is that like some stem cell?
Yeah.
CRISPR stuff?
I don't know if it's CRISPR, but for sure, yeah, they're growing them, stem cells and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, it's creepy, man.
Wow, gnarly.
Do you want to do a couple of these guys here? No?
No, you bring us through here.
All right.
Sorry, I don't have it open. I'm still trying to get it open.
Okay, so this is Kevin Warwick on the left. He's a pioneering professor in cybernetics and considered by many as the world's first cyborg. Kevin instigated a series of experiments involving the neurosurgical implantation of a device into the nerves of his left arm in order to link his nervous system directly to a computer. This enabled him to have a symbiotic connection with a robotic hand. And on the right here, Manuel Munoz has biometric ears that enable him to feel changes in atmospheric pressure. Similar to migratory birds, he can feel the arrival of everything from rain to cyclones. So, yeah, that's kind of gnarly.
That's pretty fancy.
The rest of it, I mean, there's nothing too
Why don't
spectacular.
you scroll through
Yeah, there's the hand.
Yeah, okay.
There's this is the one that I wanted to run by you, Basil, because I don't know if you can see this one. Not the hairy chest one.
I'm looking at it. What is
The
that?
one-
And why is it?
The hairy chest. I don't like this thing floating over my head. It's really uncomfortable. If you're looking at the screen here, but on the left, the iSect is an experimental device that aims to recreate the experience of seeing the world like a chameleon with two single steerable eyes. So I bring it up because it kind of looks like what you got going on over there with your googly eyes. So maybe you and him can be friends.
This is the next step.
And you guys can talk about being cyborgs, but also not being one because don't take the mark.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so it moves his vision in opposite directions like a chameleon. That is pretty crazy.
Somebody in chat.
That sounds like it would give me a headache.
Somebody in chat.
I
Incarnate.
get a headache every time I'm in this.
Yeah, the lag is so bad. Somebody, Incarnate Unlimited said nipple chip on the right one, which is that's exactly what it is. It's a nipple chip.
Good job. You got Gons on that one.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to decode Gons's his sense of humor, but I think nipple chip got it.
That got me.
Yeah, so you can just scroll through those things. I'm gonna go through. Here's the thing, Gons. You head over to the Patreon for Canary Cry Radio. We got to give some shout outs because one of the great things, one of the great ways to support the show. Here's the thing, folks. We do not believe in advertising. So what we don't do is sell your attention to corporations for our own personal gain. That's not how we roll around here. We subscribe to a value for value model. We create value. We put the value out. We do the shows for free. We try to get as many people on board in the fringe truther community as possible, get the information out there, and follow the stories that we think are important to the development of what we see happening. Especially in the context of biblical prophecy. And if you find value in that, it's your job to put some value back into the system. It's the only way it works. We're only essential employees of this podcast. We got nothing else going on right now, folks. We're stuck in our house just like you. We are in the same boat. And so I wanted to take a second and thank the people who are giving value back into the system. Because it's the only way we can keep this going. So let's see. Our last show was the 8th, 7th or the 8th. It was the 8th. So here are the new and upgrading donors over on patreon.com/Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you
CCNT.
so much for those who have gone to Patreon. Sorry, you're right. Patreon.com/CCNT. If you're out there and you're watching and you find value in what we do, please consider going to Patreon.com/CCNT, like Canary Cry News Talk, and sign up to support us. Plus, you get a bunch of bonus rewards, bonus episodes, fun merch, all over there at the Patreon, okay? And this is the world we live in. This is Gons and I's everything. So please consider, if you got value, you got an extra $5, an extra $10 a month, this is the way to say thank you and to keep the show going, because it can't keep going without you guys. Okay, here we go. New and upgrading donors since last show. First of all, big old thank you to Perla.
Perla. Oh, I wasn't ready for the.
Gons?
Yeah. I'm going.
Okay.
Sorry, got to pull up some.
We got
other
an
stuff.
upgraded donation from Michael. We love those upgraded donations. That means the world.
Like Mike.
Thank you, Michael. We also got a new pledge from Maria. Thank you, Maria. A nice new pledge from Tiffany. We love you, Tiffany. An upgraded pledge from Casey. Love that guy. Casey, he was a guest on the Joyspiracy Theory.
There you go.
So go check out his episode. Great episode. And that's it.
That's
all
what
the
was
new
the
and
date?
upgrading Patreon supporters.
What was the date of the last?
I went from the 8th.
Okay, because we got a
I went
bunch of
from the
people
8th.
on PayPal as well. I'm just gonna roll through these names.
So here, let's not do that this show. We are actually, yeah. You wanna?
I'll just
you
do it
wanna
real
just
quick.
read some first names.
Yeah, Al, Nathan,
Okay.
Carlos, Melissa, Salah, Robert, Stephen, John, William. My gosh, my eyeballs are gonna fall out. William, Timothy, Craig, With Love by Wendy, and John. So thank you guys all for the PayPal support.
Yeah, thank you guys
really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
That means a whole ton. Yeah, and as we said before, this is how we support ourselves. This is how we're making it through these times. Gonza has a whole dang family he has to support.
Yeah, they're getting restless.
And,
I can hear them.
I've got cats and all sorts of other things. Yes, we're going to let Gonza's children out of their cages soon, but we wanted to thank you all. And here's the thing, folks. There's a bunch of ways that you can support the show. Number one, go to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Follow us on Twitch. We got to get those numbers up. It's going to be a huge bonus for us to hit partner with Twitch and start making money over there. That's going to be a huge thing for us moving forward. We don't know how long we're going to be stuck in our houses, folks. It's a real emergency situation over here. But we're going to keep streaming live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So keep coming back and watch it on Twitch is the best way to do that. Hitting us with a donation at patreon.com/CCNT is a huge, warm, fuzzy feeling for us and helps us pay the bills. That's wonderful. And please consider doing that. But if you don't like Patreon, a lot of people don't like Patreon, and that's totally cool. We support you. Go to canarycryradio.com/support. And there you got PayPal. You can do one-time donation on PayPal. You can do a subscription on PayPal. It's great. Whatever you want to do. There's also some fun ways, some crypto-centric ways for people out there. But we'll give the info on that a little bit later when we have it all set up.
Yep.
Am I forgetting anything, Gons?
I think that's it. Just shout out to all the Face Like the Sun people out there.
There we
Thank
go.
you guys for being there, and that's it.
Yes, thank you very much, Face Like the Sun viewers. Thank you, Facebook viewers. Thank you, Canary Cry Radio viewers. And remember, if you're on YouTube or any other one of those platforms, stop giving your money to YouTube. Stop giving your attention to Facebook. Head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We got to get those numbers up. That's a huge help for us. Another great help if you're, for some reason, allergic to Twitch, or you are in a similar boat as Gonz and I and can't help the show out financially, do both of these things and then send us an email and tell us that you did it. First of all, pick one of your favorite episodes of Canary Cry News Talk or Canary Cry Radio and just send it to a friend. If you just send more stuff to friends, we're in a situation right now where people, even normies, muggles, non-truthers, whatever you want to call them, they are starting to question their reality as well. So pick out an episode of Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk or anything like that. Send it to one of your questioning friends. Now's the time. They're going to start waking up. So go ahead and do that. Follow us on Twitch. Again, very important. Or leave a rating and a review on iTunes. I know we're streaming these live on video, but we've been doing the podcast version of these for almost a decade. So there's a huge backlog of episodes. Go to any podcast player and search Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk. They're two different shows, and check them out and leave a rating and a review. I was a little disappointed, Gons. I checked our ratings and reviews, and only one person left a rating and a review since last show.
The chat's getting out of control.
Come on, guys. One person out of is the chat going nuts?
It's a little. It's getting
Chipples.
a little.
That's
Chipples,
good. Yeah.
It's yeah. There's some pretty funny stuff.
That's
going
what
on
happens
there.
when I start blabbing about supporting ourselves. People start talking about nip chips and chipples and all right. That's a lot of creativity. Start aiming that at the Patreon folks. I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you all so much. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. One last thing that I do want to mention. These times are tough. You're getting just slammed with information, daily updates and bad news about coronavirus. I've been doing a show called The Joyspiracy Theory for a few years, and it's just a great break. I take a couple hours and talk to other truthers. And we just talk not just about our favorite conspiracy theories, although that's in there too, but also we just talk about life. It's a great testimony to what God can do and what the life of a truther can be like before and after waking up. Check that out. It's on iTunes and all your podcast players. It's also on YouTube. You can check it out there. It's called The Joyspiracy Theory. It's like conspiracy theory, but with joy instead, Gons. Get it?
Yep. It's a good show. Everyone should check it out.
All right. Yeah. Oh, somebody's saying we should do Joyspiracy Theory episodes on Twitch. Maybe I will. That would be a good one to do live. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, I think that's all we got, Gons. But here, I got one more thing to tell everybody. You got friends, you got muggles, non-truthers, normies out there, whatever you want to call them. They're still getting their news from the mainstream or from their Facebook feed, God forbid. You got to find those people, grab them by the cage and shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Ask Noah.
That's right, folks. Go out there, rattle some cages, let them know what's up. And I think that's it this week, Gons. So thank everybody so much for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. That's on Wednesday. But until then, think outside the cage.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies and melt those babies into candles. Demonic power. People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.